About 4 years ago, I rented a small house in rural Ohio while finishing online college classes. The place was cheap, quiet, and honestly kind of perfect for me. The house itself was old, but not creepy old, just worn down and outdated. It had one floor, a tiny kitchen, and an unfinished basement with concrete walls and exposed pipes. I barely ever went down there except to do laundry. I lived alone except for my cat, Milo. He was usually lazy and slept most of the day, but he absolutely hated the basement. Anytime I opened the basement door, he'd puff up and run away. First, I thought it was funny. Then weird things started happening. Sometimes late at night, I'd hear faint metallic noises from downstairs. Little clinks, scraping sounds, very quiet. I always assumed it was the old pipes expanding or the water heater acting up. One night around midnight, I was sitting in bed watching YouTube when I heard a loud thud come from the basement. Milo instantly jumped off the bed and hid under my dresser. I grabbed my phone flashlight and went to check. The basement stairs creaked loudly with every step, and the deeper I went, the colder it got. When I reached the bottom, nothing looked out of place. Washer, dryer, shelves, concrete floor, everything normal. But then I noticed the basement window. It was open. Not wide open, just cracked slightly. I was positive I'd locked it days earlier because rain had been coming in through it before. I shut it, locked it again, and went upstairs convincing myself I probably forgot. But after that night, things got worse. I'd wake up and find random objects moved around the house. Kitchen drawers slightly open. A chair pulled out from the table. Once, my TV remote disappeared completely and showed up 2 days later sitting in the bathroom sink. I genuinely started thinking I was losing my mind. Then one night around 3 a.m., Milo woke me up growling. Not meowing, growling. I'd never heard him make that sound before. He was staring directly at my bedroom doorway. The hallway outside my room was completely dark, but I could hear something. Breathing. Slow breathing. I sat frozen in bed listening to it. Then came a soft creak from the hallway floorboards. Someone was standing outside my room. I slowly reached for my phone without making noise and turned on the flashlight. The hallway was empty, but the breathing stopped immediately. I stayed awake until sunrise with every light in the house on. The next morning, I finally decided to check the basement properly. I moved shelves around and searched every corner until I noticed something behind the staircase. A blanket, then food wrappers, then bottles of water. Someone had been living in my basement. My stomach dropped instantly. Behind the stairs was a tiny hidden crawl space I'd never noticed before, and inside it were clothes, batteries, and a small flashlight. Whoever it was had been staying there for days, maybe weeks. I called the police immediately. When officers searched the area, they found fingerprints and signs that someone had been entering through the basement window at night while I slept. But they never found the guy. The most horrifying part came afterward. One officer asked me if I kept my bedroom door unlocked at night. I said yes. He got quiet for a second and then told me they found footprints outside my bedroom door leading back toward the basement, meaning whoever was hiding down there had been standing outside my room while I slept. I moved out less than a week later. To this day, every time I hear my floor creak at night, I instantly think of that breathing outside my bedroom door. About 2 years ago, I was driving through Arizona overnight trying to make it home after visiting family. It was around 2 a.m., and I was running completely on caffeine and energy drinks. The highway was empty for miles. Eventually, my gas light came on, so I pulled into this tiny gas station in the middle of nowhere. It had one pump, a tiny convenience store, and flickering lights that barely illuminated the parking lot. The whole place looked abandoned, but the pumps still worked. As I got out of my car, I noticed a woman sitting near the ice machine beside the store. She looked maybe late 30s or early 40s. wearing dirty jeans and a gray hoodie. Her hair was messy, and she was staring down at the ground, completely motionless. At first, I thought she might have been homeless. I nodded politely while pumping gas, but she didn't react at all. Then suddenly she spoke. "Don't go inside." Her voice was calm and quiet. I looked toward the store windows. The lights inside were on, but I didn't see anyone working the counter. I awkwardly laughed and asked why. She slowly looked up at me. "There's a man in there pretending to work." The way she said it made my chest tighten immediately. I looked back toward the store again. Still no movement. I honestly thought she was mentally unstable or trying to scare me. But then she stood up quickly and walked toward me. "You need to leave right now." Something about her expression felt genuine. Terrified, even. At that exact moment, the gas pump clicked finished. And then the store door opened. A man stepped out wearing a gas station uniform. But something was wrong. His shirt looked dirty and wrinkled, like it hadn't been washed in weeks. He just stood in the doorway staring at us, not blinking. The woman immediately backed away, whispering, "That's not him." The man slowly started walking toward us. I don't know why, but every instinct in my body suddenly screamed at me to leave. I jumped into my car and locked the doors. The woman started running toward the highway without even looking back. The man suddenly broke into a sprint toward my driver's side door. I slammed the car into reverse so fast I nearly hit the gas pump. The guy reached my window and started pounding on the glass, screaming for me to stop. His face looked completely insane. I sped out of there and called 911 maybe 5 miles down the road. Police later contacted me and said the actual gas station clerk had been found unconscious inside the bathroom, tied up with zip ties. The man I saw wasn't an employee at all. He'd apparently been waiting there for hours pretending to work the station. What still scares me most is the woman. Police never found her, which means she either escaped before officers arrived, or she'd already been trapped there too. This happened last winter when I was staying alone in my uncle's cabin in northern Michigan. He used it mostly for hunting trips, but during the off-season he let me stay there for free while I worked remotely. The cabin sat deep in the woods with no nearby neighbors. At night, it was unbelievably dark. The first week was peaceful. Snow everywhere, total silence, no problems at all. Then one night around midnight, I heard knocking on the window beside the kitchen. 3 slow taps. I looked outside but saw nothing except snow and trees. I assumed maybe a branch hit the glass because of the wind. About 20 minutes later, it happened again. 3 taps. This time from the living room window. I muted the TV and listened carefully. Nothing. Then another 3 taps came from the bedroom window down the hallway. My stomach instantly dropped. Something was moving around outside the cabin. I locked every door even though they were already locked and turned off all the lights except one lamp near the couch. For the next hour, nothing happened. Eventually, I started calming down again. Then my phone buzzed. No caller ID. I answered cautiously but heard only static. Then a man whispered, "I can see you." The call disconnected. I immediately checked every window, but outside was just darkness. Then I noticed something near the tree line behind the cabin. A figure, tall, completely still, watching the house. I couldn't see details, only the outline. I called the police, but they said the nearest officer was over 40 minutes away because of weather conditions. So I grabbed my uncle's old baseball bat and stayed near the couch waiting. The figure never moved. Not once. It just stood there. Minutes felt like hours. Then suddenly, the kitchen window shattered. I jumped up screaming and saw someone climbing through the broken glass. A man wearing a winter coat and ski mask crawled inside unbelievably fast. I swung the bat wildly and hit him in the shoulder before running toward the bedroom to lock myself inside. The guy started laughing. Not yelling. Laughing. I could hear his boots slowly walking down the hallway toward the bedroom door. I genuinely thought I was going to die there. Then outside, I heard distant sirens. The footsteps stopped immediately. A second later, the back door slammed shut. Police searched the woods for hours but never found him. What they did find were footprints surrounding the cabin. Dozens of them. The man had apparently been circling the house for hours before trying to break in. I never went back to that cabin again.